if your only motivation is the money, right? We all know how to make money. Like, we all know how to do it, right? You got to put in the work, you got to put in the time, and that's great. But if you're not taking the time to work on you, none of it matters, right? Because if you fucking relapse again, you could lose everything. Hey everybody, I'm Eric Oberembt, and you're listening to Be Authentic or Get the Fuck Out. We talk about real shit, what's on our minds, and don't give a fuck if it makes you feel a little uncomfortable. So sit back, strap in, and get ready for some real shit. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Be Authentic or Get the Fuck Out. I'm your host, Eric Oberembt. I am thrilled to announce our new sponsor, SMA Support Services. Huge shout out to them for supporting the mission of keeping it real and cutting through the noise and the bullshit. SMA Support Services doesn't just back our show. They're about leveling up business efficiency and making sure companies have the support that they need to thrive. So thank you, SMA Support Services, for making this episode possible. Let's get into it. Here at RoofCon, doing some interviews. This interview I'm really excited about. We have been trying to connect for a hot second. We keep missing each other. He was going to fly into Omaha to do something at our place. And this just all worked out really well. Hunter's got a great story of success and of failure and of all the things in between. He's a brother in recovery. And I'm really excited for him to get to tell you his story. And so I want to introduce my guest, Hunter Adams. Hunter, thank you for being here, sir. I appreciate
Absolutely.
you.
I've always looked forward to being on this, and thank you so much for having your assistant reach out to me. It's
Absolutely
awesome.
Yeah, try and pull it a little tight. See
Yeah.
if it,
How about that?
yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
That should work. So yeah, man. Is this? Have you been to RoofCon before?
This is my third time at
Okay,
RoofCon.
I thought so. Yeah. Or did we talk last year here? We talked last year here, didn't we?
Yes, sir.
What was it, Steven?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yep.
right. That's right. So we connected on originally some business shit, and then I found out that you were in recovery.
Yeah. You were one of the very first people I ever told that and felt comfortable actually telling that to.
So tell everybody a little bit about that, about why you were hiding.
Well, I kind of always felt like I could potentially be judged, and maybe rumors would get around. Oh, Hunter's an alcoholic. He runs a company. He's
Wouldn't be rumors though, would they? They'd just be statement of facts.
No, it'd be facts. And I've always thought potentially I could get judged or maybe lose some business over it. And then you were the one that was like, hey, just get your story out. And honestly, as I thought about it, it's like, I need to help people. Like, regardless, it doesn't matter if someone judges me or says I'm this or that. It's like, at this point, I want to help people.
Yeah. I got to a point where, especially even doing this podcast, right? Because I knew that if I put this out into the world and I put the real me out there, whether it's recovery or it's just me saying whatever I want to say, I knew that I could potentially lose clients because of it, right? And I had to make a conscious decision that that's okay, right? Everybody doesn't have to be my client. If somebody doesn't want to work with me or my organization because of my past, not my present, and not what I do with people, I don't want to fucking work with those people.
Hell yeah.
I just don't fucking care. The money's not worth it. If you're a judgmental prick and can't get past whatever exterior you're seeing, right, in me or whatever I'm saying, or, oh, you were an alcoholic, you did cocaine, you did all these bad things. Yeah, I did, motherfucker. And then I fixed my shit, right? And I help people now, you help people now. And right. And so you don't want to work with those fucking people regardless. Yeah, we all want our money, but you know what? Somebody else is going to have the same thing.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And it's like my sponsor told me the other day, it's like the more authentic you are, the more honest you are about your story, I think you're honestly going to attract better clientele.
100.
By being like that,
100. Do you think you have?
Yes, you know, 100%. We've done a lot of consulting, and by being more honest and getting more involved in recovery, as well as raising prices. Once we did that, we started, you know, just attracting better clientele, people that paid better, people that were more honest. Jobs went smoother. We were able to pay people in our company better. And it just, I was scared. I was terrified at first. Like, I couldn't even sleep when we decided to make these decisions because I had all these deals. You know, we're working with 1,700 contractors, and I'm thinking, oh God, my mind's going, oh, I could lose all these people. And we just cut dry.
Did you change their deal while they were in the middle of a deal?
We honored mostly everything, and then January 1st, we let everybody know.
You set a date.
Yes, sir.
Okay, but
Yes,
if somebody was already in the pipeline, you weren't sticking up their ass.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Exactly.
Okay, all right.
Exactly.
Just want to make sure we're going to clarify that you're not a prick.
No, absolutely not, man. I try to be as authentic as possible.
Yeah, and genuine. That's the word that like I've been leaning on a lot lately. Is the word authentic has gotten so bastardized in the public space lately. Like everybody is using it. Like when I started the podcast, it wasn't like people weren't really talking about it, right? I'm not saying that I fucking, you know, like made it a thing or whatever, right? But like, it's become everybody's new little buzzword, and people are kind of bastardizing it and using it, honestly, like kind of using it improperly. And so I decided here this year, starting the end of this year and next year, I want to start talking more about being genuine, right? Because they're the same, but there's just a little bit of difference of a nuance, right? And like you can feel when someone is genuine, right? And to me, genuine, and it might not be the definition for everybody, but to me, genuine also means good. Yeah. Right? Like it also means you're a good human, like you genuinely care about somebody, right? And I know that's not the only definition, right? But for whatever reason, that word just kind of resonates with me more. Is that something that, like, I mean,
I think genuine I think it covers a lot more ground. I mean, you could be authentic in multiple different reasons, but when you say you're genuine, I'm thinking like caring, as well as, you know, as well as we mentioned, but authentic, but there's more care.
You can authentically be a cocksucker.
Oh yeah, exactly.
That can just be who you are.
Yeah, you could be an authentic asshole.
Correct.
And I think genuine, it's like, no, that doesn't fit that. It doesn't fit that. And
it doesn't feel like it, right?
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
So when did you get sober the first time? Because it sounds like from our conversations, you've had a couple of relapses.
Yes, sir.
Okay. When did you first get sober?
So, do you want me to go into like the whole backstory, or just kind of when?
We got time.
Well, so in high school, I was always an athlete, right?
Okay.
And I love wrestling. I was all or nothing, you know, person, and I was ranked in the country. I had a shoebox full of Stanford letters, Brown, Columbia. I had really good grades. A shoebox anywhere in the country I could have gone. And basically, I chose, you know, a Liberty, the #1 Christian school in the country, Division I. I went there, and I liked the rush of drugs and alcohol. Mm-hmm. And I thought, you know, my ego was so big at the time. I was like, man, I love this. But then I started loving it more than I did sports.
Okay.
And it was on from there. From this very first sip I took, I was immediately an alcoholic and drug addict, like more alcoholic, but yeah.
Where are you
from? So I'm from Denver, as well as I lived in Virginia for about 11 years of my life.
Got it.
Yeah. And so I went on to Division I school, and I was out partying, of course. I was in a head-on collision and received my second DUI. I actually injured somebody, not crazy severely, but enough to where it's on my conscience today, and you know, broken bones and some stuff. And I thought, you know, the judge is, because I had, you know, a really good sports record and everything, but you know, he gave me a prison term of 19 months, and I served it in the county jail, and it was one of the biggest wake up calls I've ever had. And that was kind of where the I need to get something going in my life, where the idea of recovery started, like the consequences.
So you were young, you're 19, 20.
Yeah, I was 20 at the time.
Okay. Yeah. So that's where the seed was planted. How old are you now?
31.
Okay. So you mentioned that you've had multiple relapses.
Yes.
Right? How many? Too many to count?
I've had enough 30, 90, 6-month chips to probably put a poker set together.
So for you, what was the trigger, quote unquote?
The trigger for the relapses?
Yeah.
Not helping people.
Because most of the time when people go back out, that shit is being planned.
Yeah.
In the back of your mind, not maybe consciously, but like somehow, like it's being planned. You didn't just fucking wake up and be like, "Yeah, I'm gonna fucking drink today," right? Like shit starts snowballing a little bit in your brain, right? Whether it's resentments or it's ego or it's whatever it is, right? It's usually it's resentment, right? But like a lot of time, but it can be ego, it can be whatever. But like, what was it? I know you said that it was not helping people. Yeah, that's the solution,
Right.
Like that's the solution for me.
Yeah.
But like, what got you?
The escapism. I've always been kind of like, after I kind of went through all my issues with the DUIs and arrests and everything, I then realized, like, once you start going to AA, like when you pick up a drink after that, it's like, it ain't fun.
Right.
It's like, dude, I got to get back in there. Like, this is terrible. I got to be honest.
With a head full of AA.
And I just become a terrible person. It's like my soul just gets out of me. But what happens with the relapses, I think, is I completely lose my disconnect with my higher power. And then I start planning, and I just want to escape for 3 or 4 days. I feel almost like I deserve to feel better. Like if I'm sober, I almost think that I deserve to feel good all the time. And that's not reality. You know, so, you know, I go through these.
You don't deserve shit.
That's what I'm saying. I don't deserve shit, man. Exactly.
You earn shit.
Yeah.
You earn the right to feel good by putting in the fucking work.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
That's a really big, man. If I had a Brad Lee dropping bombs fucking button right here, I'd hit it right now, right? Yeah, man. Like, I think that's a real thing. I bet with a lot of people of like, they think they deserve something, right? Like, do you have kids?
Yeah, I have twin daughters that are 3.
But like once they start getting older, right? And especially now, because like you've got stuff, right? Like you've got stuff and money and right. And then like as your kids grow up, like, I don't know, were you well-to-do when you were a kid?
No, just general. My parents went to college, teacher, nurse.
But like, I always worry about that because like I didn't grow up really with a whole lot. Like I lived nice, comfortably, whatever, but like we didn't have abundance, you know, of anything. And I worry about my kid because she's growing up with whatever the fuck she wants, right? Like whatever she wants, she gets. Is, you know, like I try not to spoil her, but it's hard when I have one little girl, right? But I worry about that all the time, and I worry about her getting into that deserve mentality, right? And like we have to have conversations all the time of like, no, if you want something, you have to earn that thing, right? And it's the same thing with sobriety. You have to earn your sobriety by putting in the work, right? You got to do the steps. 100%. You got to help people. You got to talk to your sponsor. You got to do all those things, and they're not difficult. Like it's very simple, right? Like the line is that it's not easy, but it's simple, right? So when was your last relapse? You said 4 or 5 months ago?
It was February 8th or 9th. I got out of a detox. I kind of had like a week where I just completely slipped up, wanted just burn the company down, just didn't care about anything, isolated, and just picked up. And then I was like, hey, my wife's like, Hunter, you got to get detox. You got to try this one more time. You can't give up. You got to keep going.
Did you stop going to meetings too?
I slowed back. I was going every day. I do 90 and 90 off a relapse. And then I was going to 3 or 4. And I just, for some reason, I didn't quite have a connection as well with my sponsor. And I feel like, and I recently just switched sponsors, and it's been just an amazing. I have a really good connection. I switched home groups. And then one of the things that was really interesting is my ex-business partner started coming to the same meetings that I had. And there was just a lot of trauma attached to it. I'm not saying that was why I relapsed, but it just, the group just became like, I was terrified that he was going to come in and oh yeah. So I've recently switched, and it's been phenomenal. This go around.
Are you sponsoring guys?
No, I'm not. I'm not at that point yet. Yep. I'm still working on the steps, but one day I plan to.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just looking for a lot of service work.
So one thing that I know that I do is like, I try to teach the principles of AA inside of my company, right? I try to live my life that way, but I try to run my business that way. Yeah. Is that something that you've tried to do as well?
I wouldn't say I brought it into 100%. I would say we do a lot of the personal development as part of our culture, but there's 3 or 4 people in my company that do not. They are sober and they don't drink.
I mean more as like leading with the principles of AA.
100%.
Right? Like leading with like, if you make a mistake, rectify it now.
Yes.
Right? If you are you always going to do the next right thing? Right?
Yes.
Like that type of culture, right? Like there's my guys fucking right there. Like those are all my guys right there. And like what we preach every single day is we are going to do the next right thing no matter what, even if it hurts us financially, because we know that it's going to come back in spades, because we're always going to do the next right thing.
Yep.
And we're going to be judged on that.
Yeah. And previously, no, I was not doing, I when I started my company and everything, I was still doing things half-assed. I was, I wasn't all the way in, and I was doing things half-assed, but it hurt my conscience. And now,
What do you mean you weren't all the way in? What does that mean?
I was kind of doing things my way. I was taking shortcuts at work. I was, lowering my prices for people and just not giving people all my all. I wasn't giving it my all at home. I wasn't being present. I was just focused on business. I wasn't, focusing on my health, my spirituality, and it was really biting me in the ass. I was really struggling at that point in time by not doing the right things.
That is, I think that's something big for everybody. If they can get from this, is like, if your only motivation is the money, right? We all know how to make money. Like, we all know how to do it, right? You got to put in the work, you got to put in the time, and that's great. But if you're not taking the time to work on you, none of it matters, right? Because if you fucking relapse again, you could lose everything. Hey everybody, we're going to take a quick little break here. I want to stop and thank our new sponsor. If you're serious about getting your time back and scaling your business, then SMA Support Services is your secret weapon. I use SMA for all of our support and admin tasks. Everything from back office management, day-to-day admin, even a call center. Their team frees up my staff to stay focused on high-level, revenue-generating activities. And that, let me tell you, is a fucking game changer. SMA isn't just support. They're a partner that keeps our operations running smooth and efficiently. So if you want to focus on growing your business and leave the support work to the pros, hit up SMA Support Services. Right? Because you ended up selling, didn't you? Did you sell?
No,
Oh.
no. I've thought about it many times.
Okay. Why did I think you sold?
There's people interested.
Oh.
I think we
I
took
swear I
pictures
saw a fucking post
with
or something that you sold.
private equity guys and
But
stuff.
you didn't. It's still,
No.
Is it 100% yours, your business?
Me and my business partner, 50. Well, we own like 40-some%, and actually Sam Taggart recently started coming on our board for some equity shares. So
Oh,
we
he
have
did?
Sam.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
That's
awesome.
cool. Yeah. Wow. When did you do that?
About 2 months ago. So he recently
Oh.
came on. We offered him, and we were looking to, just grow this thing. And I love Sam as a person. I mean, he has fun. He's, spiritual. He's got morals. He's got ethics. He's one of the top sales coaches. And I said, dude, I want you. I want you in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So what's that look like? How's he assisting?
So he meets with us, every Friday, and he helps us with recruiting. He helps us with brainstorming. He connects us with some of his large connections. He's one of the biggest connectors in the industry.
Yeah.
And mainly just coaching and consulting and connecting.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you. What else is your sobriety kind of given you in your business and in your life?
So the times where I've really focused on my sobriety, I mean, it's really helped my family relationship. It's really helped me.
There you go.
Like, I noticed a lot of, especially like business owners, like it's like you get up and you're first thinking about work, and then you're thinking about this. Well, it's really helped me. Like, when I get up, I do my morning routine, I focus, I do my meditation. Then when it's time to spend time with the family, I'm there, I'm spending time with the family. Then when I'm at work, I focus on work. I'm not just trying to be
present.
Not trying to be on my phone all the time. And granted, it's a daily struggle,
Yeah.
it's something I think everybody struggles with, to be honest.
What was that 16 months or whatever it was like for you?
Oh man, like going from being one of the top athletes in the country for wrestling, and then all these schools finding out I got in that accident. I mean, my freedom was gone. I mean, it's
pretty humbling.
It was crushed, man. I mean, I cried for weeks at a time. My dad taught at the school I was at. He coached me, and it was gone, man. It was like everything I had worked for sports was diminished, and I was gone, and it, I was at that point I was a convicted felon, and I just thought my life was over, man.
Over.
And
Yeah. I know that feeling. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. I remember being in rehab. How many rehabs you been to?
I've been to rehab 3 times.
Okay. I remember when I was I'm very fortunate. I went to rehab once.
Good for you.
I went to rehab once. I relapsed like 10 days after I got out of rehab, made an excuse, had a resentment, and I relapsed. I relapsed one night, just one night, and I woke up the next afternoon and went upstairs and I looked into the mirror and I literally out loud went, "What the fuck are you doing?" And I was so lucky that it was one night.
Yeah.
And I went, "I'm done." I was like, I needed that though. I needed that one night, right? Like we all need our stories. We all need our journey, our path, whatever it takes to get to where we are, today. But the question is like, what are we going to do now, right? What are we going to do now to keep the thing that we have, right? And the answer is what you said earlier, is that we're giving it away too, right? And you can only give it away, which I'm really proud of you, because you decided to open up and let people know who you are now, right? And it's okay, because you are going to attract people to you naturally that either align with you because of the recovery that you're in, right? Or need you.
Absolutely.
Right? And that's the shit that you need, and you don't realize it. Like, you get it now, right? Like, you see it now, but maybe you didn't, before. And when you said I relapsed because I wasn't helping people, it's like, yeah, that's the 12th step. It's really fucking easy. I tell everybody this, and some people get it and some people don't. I think you do. It's really fucking easy to get sober, right? It's really fucking hard to stay sober, right? Because you have to do shit every day, right? It doesn't mean you have to make lists, and you know what I mean? Like, you don't have to do the steps, you don't have to like do the work every day, right? But like, you got to do, I have somebody that sends me a little snippet every morning from a 10, 11, and 12.org, right?
Wow.
And that's how we maintain our sobriety, is by doing 10, 11, and 12, right? And meditating in the morning or whenever, you need to, and doing the things and reflecting and helping other people, right? Like, that's how we stay sober. We get sober by doing 1 through 9, right? And I wish more people that weren't even in recovery and weren't alcoholics went and fucking did those steps, right? Have you ever had that?
I have heard, listen, I've been to a couple meetings where people are not alcoholics and they're actually in the meeting because they could benefit, because everybody has character defects. And I think that's an advantage of being an addict or an alcoholic, is like, you have the opportunity to actually work on yourself. Your life's gotten, to the low points where it's like, hey dude, like, I got to reach out. I got to get help. I cannot do this on my own. And I think, a lot of people, it's like, the world kind of revolves around them, and it's like, dude, your recovery has to revolve around everything. You know what I mean? Like, it's got to be. It's got to be number one.
It's got to come first.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think somebody said in the meeting this morning, like, all the stuff that you put in front of your recovery, when you relapse, that's what you lose.
Yeah.
You lose everything that you put in front of it.
Yep.
Right. And like, for me, I mean, I think about that all the time. Like, if I put everybody in my life, my family, my daughter, my wife, if I put them in front of the recovery and I lose the recovery, I will fucking lose them. If I put my business in front of my recovery, I will fucking lose my business.
Yeah, and it's tough, man, because like when your family sees you, especially going through a relapse or just a really tough time, it's like, you care more about the alcohol than you do us. And the sickness, like, it's just like your brain's like just craving that dopamine, and sometimes you feel that way. It's like, I do, at the point where you pick up, it's like, man, it's just like, I would do anything for a drink, and it's really sad that it comes down to that.
How immediate so I haven't relapsed. Like, I've been sober for almost 15 years now, right?
That's awesome.
So like, I tend to forget. It's why I like having these conversations, right? Because like, I tend to forget what it was like, right? Like, that's a long time. How immediate was the guilt?
It's almost instant.
Is it?
It like before the relapse or like during the relapse?
Like during it, right? Like you pick up and you know that you have these people that fucking rely on you, and you've made the most selfish decision in the world, right? To go do something that's only for you, that you think is going to help you, not realizing, not thinking about the consequences of how it's going to impact other people.
Well, usually the first thing I do is I tell my wife, I'm just like, look, like, I hate myself for doing this. Like, I hate this, I hate this disease. My family's gone through it, and I just hate it. And I'm just, it's so selfish for me to do this to you. And,
do you go hide somewhere and drink?
Yeah.
Do you go to a bar, or like do you hide in your house?
I don't. I stopped going to bars at 20,
But I just curious,
24.
like when you relapse, like, because you're a grown-ass man now, right, with a family and fucking kids. Where'd you go? Like, when you relapsed, did you drink at home?
Yeah, I drink at home. I don't go around anybody.
And so she knew you were fucking drinking.
Oh yeah, like I don't try to hide it. Like when I drink, I know
You're just like, sorry, honey, fucking, like, here I go.
I'm a binge drinker. I'm not a daily drinker, so I'll drink for 3 or 4 days straight, get really sick, and then just sit on the couch and then, get back.
So what was her reaction when you started back up on the last relapse?
She's really disappointed in me. Her father's an alcoholic and
like active or in recovery?
No, he's actually been sober for almost over a year and a half now.
Cool.
And,
Awesome.
but he's drank himself to the streets, alcoholic, and
Yep.
she understands the disease. She has some like trouble putting her foot down because we do have a really good life, but I know like if it gets bad enough, like I could lose it. It's already happened to me before with the wrestling, and I've lost. I've damaged relationships over my parents because I've only had like 3 relapses in the past like 2 years, but the damage that those have done, and it's only been a brief week.
Right.
And you just couldn't imagine like how hurt people are. In my life, even just during the short
Because you've
relapses.
built an amazing business, right? I mean, you're what, the #1 fucking detach and reset guy in the country?
Yeah, we're probably the top 2 solar repair companies in the country right now. Yeah,
And that took you how many years to fucking do?
been in business 5. I've truly focused on it hardcore, all out. 2.5 years.
And every time you drank, I would imagine in your mind, like everything had the opportunity to reset back and just fucking have to have the fear of starting over.
Yeah, usually call my business partner. I'm like, look, dude, like I'm so disappointed. Like this has happened. I relapsed, and he knows. He knows my backstory. And I'm like, look, dude, if you just, and it's so sad, but I'm like, look, if you don't want to tolerate this, just, make me. It's really sad, but I'm just like, make me.
Is he supportive?
He's supportive. Yeah, he's really supportive. He's like, I need you. I need you here. You're an amazing leader. And I'm just like, well, these relapses just hurt, man. And it's not being a leader. Like it makes me just feel like the worst person on earth. And I'm just like, like at the point where I relapse, I'm just like, dude, just if you don't want to deal with me, don't deal with me. Just make me a fair offer if you want me gone. And that's what happens. The sickness is just. It's really bringing you down, and it's just, the downs are really, really tough. And I know
Downs are low.
If you remember, I know it's been 15 years for you, but I mean, what goes on in your head is like, I mean, right now it's like the complete opposite. It's like, man, I'm so grateful to be here. I'm grateful to be around people. And it's the exact opposite when you relapse. It's like, dude, everybody hates me.
Yeah.
Everything's going to burn down to the ground. My family hates me.
Yep.
I'm the worst person. And it's just, that's like
That's a shitty way to live.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a shitty way to live, right?
Yeah.
I'm so happy that you made a decision to be open about your past, about your story, and about your alcoholism, drug addiction. Were you a drug guy?
More it's
More
always
alcohol?
alcohol's the
Okay.
number one, maybe a little Coke here and there, but alcohol's
Gotcha.
the
Gotcha.
number one.
I'm just so happy that you made a decision finally to come out, because that sounded like you're gay, but like
Definitely not. Definitely not.
But I'm just super happy that you decided to come out and let people know who you are, because that has to be extremely freeing, that you're not hiding behind a curtain anymore.
Yeah, this has been, I was the most nervous. I've been on a lot of podcasts, and this was the most nervous. I barely slept last night.
Really?
I was a little nervous, Eric, to be honest with you, about coming out, about, being in recovery and the struggles that I've gone through.
So is this kind of the first public talking about it?
With my company, I've had meetings about it, but for the industry and Yeah, I mean, this is the first time
I
ever
think you're
coming
gonna
out.
be. I think you're gonna be surprised because you're gonna get an outflowing of support. Right. I
Love
think you're
that.
gonna get an outflowing of support. And anybody that doesn't and judges you, again, like we said in the beginning, go fuck yourself.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you don't need those people in your life, right? Like those aren't the people that are going to raise you up that
Right.
you want to surround yourself with.
yeah, and
right?
they're probably people that aren't being honest with themselves that are kind of have
They're
tough.
usually like, yeah, they're. That's funny you say that because
Yeah.
they are usually the ones that are like, oh God, you always judge like what you see in yourself. It seems like, right?
Yeah.
And when people start judging and be like, oh, you fucking piece of, you know what I mean? It's like usually they got some shit going on,
Yeah.
right? That they need to
Yeah.
fucking work on a little bit, but they don't want to
Yeah.
face it, right? And they're almost jealous that you actually did,
Yeah.
right? That you actually had the self-awareness to be able to look in the mirror and be like, fix your shit, Hunter. Right? And to come out and tell people about it. I think, man, I'll tell you this, when we first met, like I liked you, right? And I was like, yeah, he's a cool guy, you know, like whatever, like I don't know, maybe we'll talk again, maybe we'll see each other again. The minute that I found out that you were a fucking drunk, I immediately loved you. It completely fucking changed my perception of you in a positive way. Because it's about I connect with people who have overcome something.
Yeah.
Right? I cannot connect and understand people that haven't went through some kind of bullshit that they had to get through to become where they are today, right? Like it just doesn't excite me whatsoever, right?
Yeah.
But like my perception of you completely changed for the better, and that's what's cool about hanging out with other drunks, right?
Yeah.
We look at each other and we're like, yeah, you're one of me, right? Like
Yeah.
same page, right? We can connect on a different level than you can with everybody else around this room. And you came to the meeting this morning, right?
Yeah.
And now you walk around the floor and you see those guys that were in that meeting and you can look at them and be like, I got you,
Yeah.
right?
100%. Yeah, because you know exactly what they're going through. Like, you know, like they're like once you have that belly full of AA, it's like you're constantly trying to work on yourself. Like, you know, that it's like you're never gonna forget that you have these, you know, some of these character defects that you're constantly having to work on. And if you're talking to somebody that's not in recovery, it's really typically, unless you're getting some sort of personal development education, like you're not going to really work on anything. And I think that leads to divorces, financial issues, disconnected from you know, your higher power, and that's kind of like the normies. You know, it's tough for a lot of them to understand what's going on.
100%. So when we kind of start getting towards the end of the interview and everything, I always know that there's something that I either glossed over while we were talking about it, or the guest came to be like, man, I hope we fucking talk about this, you know, blah, blah, blah. And so I always want to, towards the end of the interview, I always want to give the floor back to the guest to say, what did I miss? What did I gloss over when we were talking about it? What do you want to make sure that the audience or me are left with here so that everybody knows, you know, what Hunter wanted them to know?
You know, I would just have to say, whatever your goals and dreams are, no matter what it is, whether it's sobriety, whether it's a family life, economics, you know, spiritual, physical, is just write it down, get your steps, and just don't be afraid to reach out for help. Like, it's all about education, man. Education is everything. You know that. Get in masterminds. Like, you know, be honest with yourself and truly, you know, talk to somebody about it. Join a self-help group. You know, my brother, he's in, you know, a sex Addicts Anonymous, and, you know, I encouraged him to get in the group and support it. Now he actually has, you know, support. So just, you know, getting some sort of support and not just shoving your problems underneath the rug, you know, actually figure it out and deal with it and be honest with yourself and see how you can reach out and get some help.
Be honest and ask for help. That's what I heard.
Yes, sir.
Everybody sees asking for help as a sign of weakness. And it is the most courageous thing that somebody can do is to pick up that phone that weighs 1,000 pounds and call somebody, right? Like, after this conversation, I expect you, if you ever get to that fucking place again and your sponsor doesn't answer their phone for whatever reason, that you know what? I can call Eric. He might motherfuck me a little bit and make fun of me and tell me fucking don't be an asshole, right? Like, you're gonna lose everything, right? But I'll talk, right? And you know that I'll be there, and so will thousands of other people, because you've opened yourself up to the world, right? Yeah. Because now that you've said it, all these people that are watching and listening are like, well, if Eric asks somebody for help, and if Hunter asks somebody for help, and if Paul, if all these people, like all these strong business owner leader guys got outside of their comfort zone and ate a little bit of crow, ate a little bit of shit, and went out and asked somebody for help, maybe I can too. Yeah. And that's the point, right? We want to affect that one person. If there's one person watching that relates to you and to your story and says, well, fuck, Hunter did it, I can do it. I can ask somebody for help.
100%. I think it's really important. I mean, the phone's heavy, yeah, especially like if you're going through a down phase and you're really struggling. That's the hardest part, to pick up the phone. When everything's good, that's the easy part. It's like when you're down, man, is the toughest part.
And you have to remember, the first thing that you think when you're getting ready to call somebody is, I don't want to be a burden.
Yep.
Right?
100%.
I don't want to be a burden. Why do I want to burden somebody else with my fucking problems? Yep. Here's why. Because we need that as much as you need it. Because that's the shit that keeps us coming back. And that's the shit that keeps us with the opportunity to stay sober and stay clean. Yeah. We need your problems as much as you need to give them away. Right?
100%.
So if you have a problem, call Hunter. Yeah, Hunter will pick up the fucking phone, right?
I'll answer. I'm always willing to help people no matter what.
And that's what he needs. So I'm telling everybody, call him first, because he needs fucking to have to take some responsibility for other people other than himself and his family, to get outside of himself, to keep his fucking sobriety, so that he can keep his family and he can keep his giant fucking business that he's slaying dragons with, right?
Yes,
I want you to continue fucking succeeding and continue in your sobriety. I want you to start coming to fucking Roofers and Recovery meetings. I want you to start become part of that community as well. We love you. We want you to be there. And I thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing your struggles. Thank you for sharing your pain. That's the stuff that people relate to. People don't relate to the fact that you can make millions and millions of dollars, right? They relate to the fact that you have fucked up.
Oh yeah.
Right? They can relate to the fact that you have fucked up, and you have to. And I'm proud of you for now being okay with that. Right?
I feel a lot better, man. I feel like a weight's gone off my chest by having this, and it just feels really good, man.
Yep. And my phone's always on. Text me first. That's what that's what I tell everybody. I'm like, fucking text me first, because I'm probably in a meeting.
Text you first, or if you can't get a hold of them, text your assistant. Eric, tell Eric to call me.
Text Maria that you're having a breakdown, and fucking we need to settle up a phone call. So
that's awesome.
Hunter, thank you for being here, brother. Everybody, thank you for listening. There's no way you didn't get something out of this. Amazing interview, amazing dude. Thank you for tuning in. We don't have any sponsors, so we are sponsored by Culture Movement. If you need an accountability group, if you need to surround yourself with some amazing humans to keep yourself on track, at the end of the day, we are the people that we surround ourselves with. And if you're not surrounding yourself with good people, you have absolutely no opportunity to become better. And so we put together the Culture Movement, cultcultureprogram.com, where we meet twice a month and have accountability calls and help each other out, and then take a couple trips a year and go scuba diving, because that's what I like to fucking do. So Culture Movement, check it out if you need anything. Also, we used to try and get sponsored by Zen, but that hasn't happened yet. So we're making these really cool Zen tins though, with the Be Authentic logo on them. So if you want a Zen tin, I'll drop a Google form link in one of the videos, and you can apply to win one of the Zen tins as well. So appreciate you listening. Love all you guys. Thanks for tuning in. And remember, everybody, to be authentic or get the fuck out.
If you can't be authentic, get the fuck out if you can't be authentic. Get the fuck out if you can't be authentic. Yeah. Swipes.